My name is Maartin van Hezik. I'm the Managing Director of the Stabo Foundation. The Stabo Foundation is in the Netherlands, and one of our famous products is a national specification system for the construction industry. I mean housing and buildings, not civil engineering.
Maartin, for you, what is BIM?
BIM is the idea that you combine the CAD drawings, 3D CAD, and the technical information of a building together, which gives you the position that you can do all kind of calculations you cannot do now. So it's a way that the government wants to check if a new building perform to the Kyoto arrest and does not take much energy and things like that. So that's, in my opinion, a new way of building a complete building, and you have the complete building ready before you start building it on your computer. And you can do all calculations, you can take out mistakes and everything. That's, in my opinion, my BIM.
What are IFCs?
IFCs are international standards developed by CAD vendors to exchange information on drawings, and they add also some small technical information to that, and it's called industry foundation classes. That's our international exchange standard, in which you can, between different software tools, exchange the information, which is quite important for the construction industry.
What is IFD?
IFD is a development. We were part in that because the construction industry is using computers everywhere. The architect uses a computer to make his drawings, the specification writer uses a computer to write specs, the contractor uses it for the calculation, another guy at the contractor uses it for buying materials, another uses a computer for planning. But the only big stupidity we made is that we did not make any appointments in exchanging this information. So we all use computers, but the exchange of information is by the print button. So you have all the information on the computer, and you say print, and a pile of files comes out, it goes to somebody else, you throw it over, and he starts all over opening the paper and put all the information in his computer. And if you look at a simple door, that simple door is in the computer of the CAD system. So the architect chooses that door and he says, well, puff, it's directly on the spot. Exactly measured, everything there. You come to the spec writer, he has the same door in his files. And he put that information there. It's also in the delivery program for the contractor. It's everywhere, it's the same door. But if you combine those computers, they never found out that it's the same door. Because the definition of the door in every system is different. That is stupid. So IFD has to solve that problem. One definition for the door, everybody puts that information in his computer system, and we can connect the computers, and they say, hey, that door, I have a drawing, I have a price, you can buy it with me, everything. That is IFD. Very simple, but very complicated to make.
What is IDM?
IDM are protocols about how to exchange information. It is part of, well, I was a little bit enthusiastic about the IFD because I'm involved in this business myself. But other partners have to make other standards about what kind of information do you share and how do you deal with the protocols about that information. So it's not a standard, and all those standards must make it possible to build a BIM, a building information model. If we don't have those standards, it will never work. So making those standards, it's awful work. We already worked 8 years on it. We spent some millions in it. But it takes some time. It's monk's work, as we say.
Who are Building Smart, or the International Alliance for Interoperability?
That's an initiative coming from the big CAD vendors in the world, because they found out that they could not stand alone. They needed exchange formats, and this is now renewed a few years ago with some new money because the organization was a little bit small, but now it's growing rapidly. While each serious country is member of a chapter, part of Building Smart. they invest now, they communicate, and they building those standards, IFCs, IFD, IDM, as tools around the world. Because we cannot afford to do it international or in Europe. It has to be international, otherwise it won't work, because we are using products of the whole world.
What is the difference between 3D CAD and BIM?
3D CAD is a nice way of presenting a building in such a way that you can show it to your client, you can turn around. Even there are programs you can walk through your future building with special brails on, glasses and on, and it's very interesting. But the other way, you need technical information combined with the drawings. If you say this is a sign of a door, you don't know what the quality of the door is, you don't know nothing about the fire protection, you know nothing about security demands or things like that. So together it should be in one model, technical information and the drawn information, and that's the difference. So that's the bit.
Is the vision for BIM finished, or is it still under development?
I think the main vision, well, it was a dream in the beginning, it comes now to reality. There has some things to develop, and that has nothing to do with the techniques. I think the technical thing, the software vendors are able to offer the market tools to exchange this information. But what is forgotten is that people who are using those tools must think, must change, and that is something that takes more time than people think. So I think that the time needs people to get used to some new instruments. I think in the future jobs are changing, because if you can do all those things in one model in one computer, why you need separate people? So, but that takes a long time.
What is the application of BIM in the Netherlands?
To be honest, I tried to sell this idea for several years, and now it's taken up. The problem in the Netherlands is that we don't have big industry leaders. So there's no big contractors association say this is going to be the standard, and if you want to work with me, you use this BIM standard. No. The only who can do this is the government. So I expect that the Dutch government, because the Norwegian government and the Danish government are dealing with this idea to make it obliged for certain projects from 3 million euros, or projects that were financed by the government. And I think that should be a good start. Then it's an obligation for those type of products, and that could be the motor to start it. But till now, there's a lot of advertisement, a lot of rumors, but no concrete project at the moment. So I hope that it will soon get alive.
And what needs to happen for that adoption to take place?
A lot. As I said, training for people is very important. Believing that the internet is a real serious tool, not for only exchange of Outlook information, sent a letter by email. No, exchange information by the internet is still not accepted. And if we don't accept that, there will never be a BIM. So it has to change in the minds of people to believe that it's safe, that no hacker can take their project away and things like that. And that is something that's in between the ears of people, and that has to be changed. And that is the biggest challenge for the education, training, get their nerves from it, because they are, oh, what's going to happen to me, and I'm scared, and my project will be gone, and whatever. So and that's something we have seriously taken care of.
How does BIM help the architect?
I always tell architects that if they are really professional BIM user, they could be back in their business as the total organizer of the building process. Because architects in my country have given a lot of things away, and they sometimes even give the lead for a project away. But when you have control of the information, where you have good connection with the contractors and the manufacturers, and they give you information earlier in the process, you can tell your client that you have a better position, also in combination of the cost, also in combination of the planning. You are not depending of a tender procedure you have control of. So architects do it, but architects are architects, as you know. People who have their very strong opinion about things. So it takes some time, but some architects already invest in my country. So I'm still optimistic.
How does BIM help the engineer?
I think that engineers should try with BIM, and it makes them able to do it, to improve the building in a technical way. Now we are choosing heating systems, electrical systems, and they know a little bit what the performance would be. In a BIM model, if you have complete information, you can perfectly calculate the energy consumption of your building. And if you say, well, this is a little bit too much, you can see if there's changing on the outside of the building, or for the isolation or whatever, can improve the results. And that is something people know it can be done, but they don't have time to do it, so they don't do it. We can make better buildings, much better buildings.
How does BIM help the manufacturer?
The manufacturer, one of the things I think for manufacturers is, sometimes I come to architect offices and I see those loaded libraries with all manufacturers' information. And I said, that cost a fortune, also those binders with beautiful photographs. And I said, when do you look in this manufacturer's information? The architect said, when we have a problem. I said, what is the problem? Well, we want that it has all glass, but the fire resistance by the building code says it should be 60 minutes. And we are looking for a material that can perform this demand. I said, and then we're looking into the binders of all the manufacturers who deliver glass or something like that. Say, if we build based on the new standards of IFD or of BIM, a system where you say, I'm looking for material where you can look through over 90% and a fire resistance of 60 minutes. And you have in 3 seconds the answer that it could be this product, this product, this product. That's a chance for manufacturers to get their information in a better way, in a quicker way, to people who want to know about their products. So it's a chance for manufacturers too, but it needs some investment.
How does BIM help the contractor?
As I said, the contractor, if the BIM is correctly done, the contractor is earlier in the project because he has to deliver technical information into the model to do all those calculations and things like that. So the contractor is more involved. It's like a construction team. And that could help the contractor to bring in his own knowledge, because architects make sometimes a choice of a type of a floor, and then the contractor said later, you could have better done this because I could do it cheaper and it's better performance. You have to discuss this in an open way. And with the BIM, I think that the contractor has more possibilities to bring in his own knowledge in technical solutions than what is used now.
How does BIM help the building owner, the client?
Well, as I said, the building owner can get a better product for his money. And with the BIM, he can see better what he's going to get than probably, not everybody can read drawings. So a complete 3D model, including technical information, gives you a very good view. What will be my new house? What will be my new office? What will be my new factory or whatever? And well, I think architects are using 3D now, not only for the client's demands to show him how the thing will look like. So it's good for him. Better quality for the same price.
Talking of cost, how does BIM help cost control?
As I said, if you use it in a proper way, you can make different models of the same building. You can take a solution for the cladding system or bricks, and say what is best, because as an architect I want to have this view, but the client said yes, but it must be, I don't want to pay too much during using the building, so the cost for maintenance should be low. You can optimize the building. So that's a very good way of keeping control of the cost, because everybody is concentrated on the cost during the building procedure. And now you have an instrument of calculating the cost during the use of the building. Much better, including the energy cost and things like that.
For designers, is BIM expensive to adopt?
Yes or no. No, if you talk about technical things you have to buy, because most of those people already have computers, have CAD systems, so it's extending the products you're already using. Yes, you have to train your people in a different way. You have to reorganize sometimes your organization. And that are the costs nobody talks about, but that are real costs. And that is what people overlook sometimes. And they only talk about what's this software program A, B or C costing. But that's just a part of it. Thinking yourself about how can I optimize my own organization, how can I benefit from the know-how from my people in my office in 100%. That is taking time, and sometimes it costs because you have to reorganize things to improve it.
What changes do we get from BIM in our relationships with other parties to the project?
That is the thing people don't want to talk about, but I think that's one of the major changes that we have to go through if we really want to make a success of a technical product, because the technical product have a big influence in how we deal with each other. In my country now, the first articles are coming in the magazines about who is responsible for the BIM, who is paid for developing the BIM. What is the relation between the architects, the engineers, the manufacturers, the contractors? Who organizes it? Who is paid for it? And that is something which is still not discussed. We only were concentrating on the missing standards, on the software we need, and now these issues are really serious issues on the table. And we have to solve them before we can talk about any success.
How would somebody new to BIM begin?
In my country, we have developed a special project for that. It's called PIM. And the magic word is PIM Salabim. That means if you start with PIM with us, and PIM stands for Project Information Management System. If people don't want to share electronically information, how you can start a BIM? So we first train them that it's safe, and you can arrange in such a way that this partner can only see something, this partner can see and comment, this partner can see and download it, and this partner can download and change some information. You can, every document in your whole construction phase, give these values. But if people don't know this, they don't trust it and they don't start with it. So we say PIM Salabim. It's like magic, but it's not. We help our clients to reach the next stage depending on how the technology goes.
What should the users expect when they start?
I think they must be sure that it takes more than buying software. Blood, sweat and tears. Because you have to reorganize your old traditional procedures. You have to think about how can I improve those procedures. How do I get this information earlier? Oh, then somebody else has to do something. And that is the biggest challenge around those new structure of information. That's why I'm thinking, because the construction industry is a very slow adapter of new technologies and information systems. I know, I'm my whole life in this business, and I'm quite sure it takes some time before people really accept it. But when it's accepted, everybody will be happy and say, why didn't we have this 20 years earlier? That's always like that.
What pitfalls should they avoid?
As I said earlier, the pitfalls could be expecting that buying a software tool is all. No. Your own, changing your organization, training your people, making new appointments with your partners in the construction industry, making anyhow appointments with other parties in the construction industry, which is for some people not done, but it has to be done, otherwise we never achieve a new quality level.
Are there any shortcuts to adopting BIM?
I think there are always bigger companies who can afford to spend money in tryouts, and well, those organizations do it because they want to benefit that they have in an earlier stage control of this new means and instrument. So they do it this way. But in my country, most of the partners in the construction industry are small companies, so they don't have the time and the money to do trials and things like that. That's a pity, but it's true.
Where can they find useful information?
Well, it's also a warning. If you go into Google and you put BIM in it, expect a lot of information. The only thing what you have to take care of is which organization do I trust about information on BIM? Is this my architects association or whatever? Or do I believe what the CAD vendors are telling me what the heaven on earth will be? So you have to be quite selective, but there is so much information available. All those organizations who developed standards have their own websites. You can find, go Google, go for BIM, but be aware what you read and what you throw away.
Wonderful. And lastly, what are your hopes and fears for the development of BIM over the next 3 years?
I hope that the expectation of the market are not so big that people are getting disappointed and don't use it anyhow. So we must take care that the commercial vendors of parts of the system are not taking over by saying that it's simple, it's easy. No, it takes really time from any organization to prepare next steps in BIM, and don't go for the whole thing. Just start with a project, find out what your own strength is, find your own weakness, say where do we get involved, where do we want to invest in our own organization, and do the steps. And that's important. Otherwise, people will say this is nothing and throw it away, and that should be a very big waste.
What do you understand by the term knowledge management?
As we translate it in the Netherlands, it's taboe, is that we try to get the practical information from people with a long experience in the construction industry. It could be anybody, architects, engineers, contractors, manufacturers. That information is going away if we don't take care of it. So we try to bring that information into a system, and well, internet is a perfect system to share that information with everybody who wants to use it. But we do it in a very practical way. Don't ask the official procedure for the government, we can find them on the internet. No, what are you doing? How did you solve when you met this problem and that problem and that problem? And give them a checklist for, like he should tell his children not go in the same problems as he did probably when he was younger. Something like that. So it's a little bit father talks, but given the experience in a very in normal language, not in juridical words, but simple, proper. That's it.
What is the difference between knowledge and information?
That it's information could be everything, but well, it's of course knowledge is a kind of information, but information in my terms, as we talk about it in my profession, is more general. I mean, that's something you can collect from everything, but knowledge is really practical experience. That the word practical is very important. I mean, the government produces rules, the European producing every day a standard, that's information. But to know how to handle that information in a practical way, that is knowledge. So that's my...
How is knowledge managed?
It's managed by people in their head, and my problem is to get it out and structure it in a way that I can bring it to somebody else. So that's quite complicated, but there are very intelligent search trees, and people get used to go through those trees because they are used it on the internet. Google works the same. This is a way to make it more easy to get it, but to build it is quite complicated.
What is sustainability?
And the terms we using in the Netherlands is saying sustainability a way to preserve the earth for our children. So we have to take care not to consume all the energy things, that we keep the water in a good condition, the air in a good condition. And well, in the construction industry, to make it smaller, we have to take care that we don't make the same mistakes as come all around the world.
What changes are happening in the construction industry in the Netherlands?
Well, it's always coming from what people think that is wise to change, and sometimes everybody feels this is a better way to do it, and there's no problem. I mean, 20 years ago the government started with green building, and that means that they had the choice to put that information into a new code, so everybody was obliged to do it. But in my country, they sometimes they started a conversation with the industry and say, are you willing to do it? And the industry said, yes, we do. So it was a covenant, you call it a covenant, and it was agreed that we use it. And we made special specifications, we call them green specifications. Everything that was in an agreement was translated into specifications. They are gone, because everybody was accepting them as normal. We put the word green away, because it's a standard specification everybody's using. So it can work. There are sometimes, well, for manufacturers, it's strange. I mean, plastic was something that was not green, till the manufacturers of all the plastic doors and windows give a 100% guarantee that they reuse the material. And then it was very green. So, you know, green and green definitions is very complicated. Where is the material found? How is it found? How many people or young children has to dig for it? How far does it come from, by ship or by plane? How is it produced? How many energy does it cost? And I'm waiting for a system that I can trust, that really give values on materials. Because it's quite easy for us to put these values into our specification system. So an architect, after finishing his project, to say, oh, I got 125 green points, it should be 100, so I have to go through it to find some other things and change it. But there is not a system at this moment that gives me all those values in an accepted way by the whole society.
How is the design and specification of buildings changing as a result in Holland? Taking the green perspective.
Yeah, I said some things are going very easy. People accept that if you, for instance, we have rivers in Holland, and we were used to take out the stones out of the rivers and put it in the concrete. It was easy, it was cheap, and we could go through it for a long time. But it made very big holes in the river. It disturbs the life there. So people say, why don't reuse concrete? And reuse concrete? That gives a poor quality of concrete. But they did some checkups, they did some developments. And now when you look at a building which is destroyed, there's nothing throw away. They take the wood first out, they take the materials out, and the concrete is in small pieces and reused in new concrete. So, and everybody thinks it's normal, but 10 years ago it was not normal. So I think construction industry is not a bad behavior in the green thinking.
Are new green products available?
Not really green products. I think it's a combination of products that get a label green. Manufacturers are looking for what new things can I develop based on principle, because green is a new issue, but it should be cheap, it should be last very long, it must be handy to use it, and things like that. So the other criteria are still there, and the green is extra, but I haven't seen much products that only green. It's always in combination of the others.
And Is there any regulation of whatever green is in Netherlands?
Well, there are some rules more based on the results of using the materials than exactly labels on the materials. So there are performance specifications on the isolation of a building, which is a bringing together classical construction types with probably green things together, and they put that level of every year a little bit higher. So that is the influence by the government, and the industry wants to respond in a way that they can deliver new metals and new products, but it doesn't change that much that fast.